Hey there, 2026 couples, and welcome to This Explainer. If you're deep in the trenches of wedding planning right now, just drowning in Pinterest boards, you are exactly where you need to be. Today, we're going to radically transform how you plan your big day. I'm going to share 5 absolute game-changing, zero-cost tips to make your wedding completely unforgettable. And I mean from the literal second your guests arrive until the lights come up after that final dance. Get ready, because we are throwing out the traditional rulebook and the massive stress that comes with it. We're designing an experience everyone will actually enjoy.
Okay, let's dive into this. Scene 1, the guest comfort secret. It is time to completely rethink your 2026 wedding priorities. Because to create that absolutely perfect day, we've got to look past the aesthetics.
If we're going to design a flawless walkthrough of your wedding day, we need to view every single moment through the eyes of the people actually attending it. So I want to challenge your mindset right out of the gate here. Think about the last few weddings you went to as a guest. When you walked away at the end of the night, what stuck with you the most? Be honest. What is the one thing your wedding guests actually care about? What truly makes or breaks the whole experience for them? I'll give you a hint. It has absolutely nothing to do with how much money you dropped on those floral centerpieces.
There's this massive disconnect in the wedding industry right now. Most couples focus entirely on the visuals, flowers, color schemes, those super expensive table linens. But your guests, they really only care about one thing. Comfort. Seriously, are they freezing to death during an outdoor sunset ceremony? Are they wandering around aimlessly looking for a bathroom? They just want to know where the water is, where the restrooms are, and what exactly is happening next. When you prioritize their physical and mental comfort over some expensive aesthetic, you instantly elevate the entire vibe of the day. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to Scene 2, First Impressions, and why greeters are your absolute best zero-cost investment. You see, the guest journey doesn't kick off when you walk down the aisle. It begins the literal second they pull up to your venue.
Think about it. A confused guest is an uncomfortable guest. If they're wandering around a massive parking lot wondering if they're even in the right place, they're already feeling anxious before the music even starts. So, the ultimate zero-cost fix for this? Deploying just 2 friendly greeters right at the main entrance. And no, you don't need to hire professionals here. Just ask 2 of your outgoing friends or maybe some cousins to stand by the doors. They instantly make a fantastic, warm first impression, give super clear directions on where to go, and just completely eliminate that arrival confusion. It sets this incredibly welcoming, organized tone for the whole event, and it literally doesn't cost you a single dime.
All right, moving right along to Scene 3, Ceremony Logistics, where we master the waiting game with extra chairs and clever programs. Think about the ceremony area. This is where your guests spend the most time just waiting around. They arrive early, grab a spot, and they wait for the show to start. And because it is a waiting game, this is prime territory for things to get awkward or physically uncomfortable if you're not totally prepared.
So, the crucial point is the golden rule of 10. You must always add 10 extra chairs to your ceremony seating arrangement. No exceptions. Why? Well, because people are just weird about sitting next to strangers, right? Gaps will inevitably form in those rows. If you only put out exactly enough chairs for your head count, those late arriving guests are going to be left awkwardly standing in the back like wallflowers. Adding 10 extra chairs guarantees absolutely no one is left stranded. But how do we keep everyone entertained once they finally sit down? Easy. A fun wedding program. Ditch the formal, stuffy piece of paper that just lists a bunch of names. Instead, fill it with fun trivia about you two as a couple, quirky relationship facts, or hey, even a mini crossword puzzle. This is the absolute perfect tool to keep your guests actively engaged. It literally saves them from having to make painful small talk or, asking a total stranger about the weather. It completely breaks the ice before you even take your first step down the aisle.
Now for Scene 4, a flawless cocktail hour. Let's talk about how to keep the momentum high and the lines short. The vows are done, and we really need to keep that fast-paced, celebratory energy going. But traditionally, the cocktail hour is a notorious bottleneck for guest comfort. You're off taking a million photos, and your guests are basically left to fend for themselves. If we aren't careful, the momentum you just built during the ceremony can completely stall out right here.
The secret to a flawless cocktail hour boils down to 2 things: seamless food service and active entertainment. First up, work with your caterer to ensure there are no long, agonizing lines for appetizers. Past hors d'oeuvres are an absolute lifesaver here. Second, introduce a cocktail hour games list. One of my absolute favorites, Human Bingo. You just give guests cards with fun facts about other attendees. It forces different groups of friends and family to mingle, laugh, and actually connect, which completely prevents any dip in the party's energy. Next up, Scene 5, the reception timeline. This is the ultimate event order to keep your guests happy and fed. Honestly, mastering this minute-by-minute flow is the absolute core of a successful night. This is where you take total control of the guest experience. If things drag on, people get tired, move too fast, and they get confused. You need a timeline that flows flawlessly.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to do it. Just look at this flow. Minute 0 is your big entrance, heading straight into the first dance at minute 5, which is immediately followed by speeches at minute 15, and then dinner at the 45-minute mark. Now, why do speeches before dinner? Because think about it. If you wait until after, your guests have been sitting around drinking, they are absolutely starving, and they will definitely not be paying attention to those heartfelt words. Get the formalities done early, so when a food finally arrives, everyone can just relax and dig in.
Once dinner is cleared, it's time to party. But we all have those shy guests who absolutely refuse to dance, right? Well, here's a brilliant zero-cost trick for you.
Hand out something simple, like foam glow sticks or funky sunglasses, right as the dancing starts. It sounds so silly, I know, but having a physical prop gives nervous people something to do with their hands. It lowers their inhibitions instantly and effortlessly builds an electric-packed dance floor.
Moving into Scene 6, the game-changing final speech. Because hey, it's time to take your wedding night back for yourselves. Up until now, we've been totally guest-obsessed, but for this late-night strategy, it's all about protecting your own sanity and enjoyment as a couple. You've been playing the role of host all day, making the rounds, shaking hands, thanking everyone. It's exhausting, and you deserve to actually enjoy your own party.
That's where the game-changing final speech comes in. Right before you cut the cake, grab the microphone together. Give a quick 2-minute speech formally thanking everyone for coming. By doing this in front of the whole room, you are officially relieving yourselves of your hosting duties. No more going table to table, you've thanked the whole shebang at once, and now you can just hit the dance floor and let loose with your friends.
All right, Scene 7. Start planning, stay organized. Meet your $27 secret weapon for a stress-free wedding. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. These are amazing tips, but how on earth do I keep track of all this without completely losing my mind? The logistics can get overwhelming so fast if you're just relying on scattered spreadsheets and random notes on your phone. You need a centralized system to execute all these zero-cost tips flawlessly. Let's weigh your options here. On one hand, you've got a traditional full-service wedding planner, and they're fantastic, don't get me wrong, but they average around $5,000. That is a massive chunk of change. On the other hand, there's the DIY Notion wedding planner. For just $27, you get a comprehensive all-in-one digital system. We're talking your budget tracker, your guest list, an interactive seating chart, and yep, that absolutely crucial minute-by-minute timeline we just went over.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer amount of specialized pre-built templates you get, so you never have to start from scratch. You've got the greeter instructions ready to print, an extra chair calculator, the fun program template, the cocktail games list featuring ideas like human bingo, and even a thank you speech outline. It is just an incredible value that keeps everything perfectly organized. Plus, when you grab it, you also get an exclusive free guest comfort checklist as a bonus.
By prioritizing comfort and using these smart zero-cost strategies, you are guaranteed to host an event people will be raving about for years to come. So, start planning, stay organized, and definitely check out that $27 Notion planner to save your sanity. But before you go, I want to hear from you. Drop down into the comments and tell me, what is your absolute biggest fear about your guest experience right now? Let's talk about it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy planning.